Okay. So, I don't know if you're familiar with tarot cards. You know the Fool. That'd be a 0. And it's almost like depicted of a man or woman, doesn't matter. And it's usually a jester type, and it's usually all rainbow, and he's got some of them depict like a little dog by his foot pulling, like about to pull at his ankle to pull him away from the cliff, or the whole idea about the childlike nature, how you do things on a whim. You're so much in the present. You're not really focused on anything else around you. It almost gives off the energy of like a naive vibe to it, or like a not knowing better. Not necessarily. Sometimes it's just taking, a leap of faith, sort of. Um, but then I thought about it. I was like, okay, so if it's like a jester, right? And then that links to the whole idea of a clown, right? And typically they're harmless characters, but then you've got the ones that are more like carnival based. And I was just thinking about this because it's almost Halloween, and I went to one of those um, theme park fear, whatever, jump scare. Anyway, so and I was thinking about the carnival type clown and how they kind of uh, skewed the image of that, like the whole idea of a clown. And then there's even like the movie It and stuff like that. And it's almost like that idea of a character, but kind of gone rogue. So when emotions aren't taken into account and um, things are not healed from, it's almost like it takes like a negative kind of backstory to it, and then it turns into like the horror type kind of scary clown that some people are actually like terrified of. I don't know the name of the word for being scared of clowns, but I get the idea of it. And so I was just thinking about how that kind of links together. It just reminds me of it. So it's almost like the idea of a fool, the Fool card, that energy, but then kind of uh, it's almost like one side takes over, like the more negative aspect of a person takes over, and then they kind of turn into like the creepy, angry sort of clown, which was really interesting to me. I can't remember exactly what it was that like got me triggered to start thinking about this, other than going to like that theme park and stuff like that. But I just see the links all together. And then the idea of, people dressing up for Halloween, and how you have the idea of a vampire, and I've associated it with almost like people that are the light goes out automatically. People that are uh like the undead sort of, or they don't have their own, you know, inner light, and they've got to kind of suck the life out of other people around them, or kind of like other people's joy, or like the whatever you want to call it. They kind of just like drain people around them because they have not given themselves the opportunity to heal in order to create and fill their own cup. So they kind of just steal it from people. And then you've got the werewolf, which I also associate with the whole idea of an unhealed inner child. So let's say your inner child's kind of tormented, and you've abandoned them, and you've ignored them, and you haven't done any healing work, or what are people saying now? Solar retrieval, or anyways, like they haven't done any shadow work, and they've let it get to a part where they pushed everything deep down inside for so long that it kind of just bursts out. And, the whole idea of emotions taking over and them just like turning wild, like almost like an animal. They just let loose and lash out at people around them. And then what would Frankenstein be? It's kind of like a mix of everything created. People are afraid of what they don't understand, and how they have villagers, all of them trying to, I'm guessing for whatever reason, just attack. I haven't quite thought too much about the Frankenstein one. And then obviously you've got witches, which even to this day has proven to be not so much mythological or just a story tale, or a fairy tale, or a grim tale, or anything like that. There are indeed witches, warlocks, whatever they want to call themselves, that manipulate energy and do certain things, usually based off of, if they're not a good one, inner traumas and stuff like that. But there are good ones too. There are people out there that do certain things that would be considered cult-like, that want to help people. Actually, there are people out there that are healers, that are not interested in doing any harm to any person, and are almost like a hermit. There are people out there that use their gifts for good, and there are people out there that are really, really hurt people that use their gifts for bad. So I don't really think it matters what timeline you're on, what dimension you're on, whatever. There's always going to be people that use their free will to do things that are good. There's always going to be people that use their free will to maybe not so much. But I personally believe that can be healed from. You can come back from that. I've witnessed people heal their past traumas and come back from it, and they've transformed into the most like respectable, beautiful person that I've met. So it is possible, and I strive to be the best version of myself personally. And as I stated before, I'm only in competition with myself to be, a little bit more leveled up and excelled from maybe who I was the day before. So those are some of my goals. And there is no real need to be in competition, unless it's healthy competition, I guess, when it comes to athletic sports. Not so much trying to get a hook, line, and sinker, or some sort of handle on another.